Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we have a GE 522, otherwise known as the Kubrick. You can understand where it got that name with those 2001 space age lines, if you know what I mean. Very popular, very cool, very good sounding console. This one is not bad shape at all. I won't put any music on, but I will power it up. So I already know that this channel is very weak. The right, left's good. But we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna completely restore this, recap, rebuild, and make it better and stronger than it ever was. Turntable we've done before in a previous video. No need to really go into depth about that. This chassis we've done, it's the components that we've done before, but we're going to take this guy out and show you what's involved there. Also the woodwork. I'm hesitant. I'm going to see how this cleans up before I start sanding. I really would like not to do the whole thing, if you know what I mean, but this is an issue. We'll see how that cleans up. It's got some nicks on the front, but more of an issue is the actual grille cover. It's kind of warped, and it's also got a lot of dirt stains here that will never come out. And also this, not good, and that won't suffice at all. So we're going to put new grill cloth on, show you how to take that cover off. Not sure what style. It ain't going to be this because you can't get this anymore. But I'm not sure what style, but I'll try to keep it, excuse me, I'll try to keep it as close as possible. Anyway, there you go. The Kubrick, and we're going to fix her. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to clean this first with VM&P naphtha. This is awesome stuff for cleaning wood, especially treated woods. And we're going to go with a very, very light 00 steel wool, and we're going to go with the grain, and we're just going to clean it up. And we're going to see if that helps, and then I'll probably add a little bit of stain, which will be this stuff. If I come over here, not stain, sorry, Danish oil, Watco. This stuff is, I swear by it. We'll do some medium walnut, and we're just going to see how it looks. And if it looks presentable and okay, it's going to prevent me from spending hours, and I mean hours, taking this all off and then refinishing it. For maybe just a couple of nicks, if you know what I'm saying, because it's not heinous, but it has issues. So we'll see. And you know, when we put that new grill cloth on as well, it's going to make it pop. All right. Okay. So we're going to clean up this with this stuff. So this is basically the residue of the naphtha and the film of crap, and also shellac, lacquer, whatever they were using. That's the residue, but we're going to clean it off with this guy, and then we're going to add some of that guy. I might get into trouble because already it's revealing this stain darker and darker. I'm hoping the Watco oil will blend that in, but we will see. Okay, so we cleaned it up with mineral spirits. This dark spot, depending on how the light gets it, is an issue. I don't know what to do because everything else cleaned up really, really nice. And to take this all down might not be worth it. But anyway, I'm going to do the oil now. We'll just see how it looks. But it's good to show you the stages of this, so hopefully you can see the difference. All right. Okay, so there's the Watco oil. It's a little wet, but that'll come off, but it'll still have that kind of sheen. It's not bad, it's already drying. So yeah, that's 10 times better than it was. The dark spot, yeah, it's there, but I don't think sanding that whole surface just for that is really worth it, because it does have its own, it's got its nicks here and there. Even on the front, and like I said, with the new grill cloth will make it pop. And you know what? It'll be priced accordingly. because, you know, eventually you start diminishing the returns. So, well, let it go. I really think it's going to be okay. It'll be a nice unit. It'll sound amazing. Okay, so it's time to dig into this guy electronically. We're going to take this back panel off and see what's inside, but this came with a Porta-Fi transmitter, channel B. What this did, it transmitted the audio signal to that, and that's a Porta-Fi speaker. Fortunately, it's also channel B. I had this, I know this needs a recap because it makes a lot of humming noise, but that could also be because the receiver isn't working, sorry, the transmitter is also not working correctly. So we're gonna goof around with this because I've not yet to goof around with one properly. So yeah, so we'll take this out as well, yeah, we will proceed. Okay, we got the back panel off. And if you've seen many previous videos on GEs, you can see there's just cable everywhere. So once again, now's the time to start labeling. Don't rely on colors, because GE in their wisdom use very, very pastel colors which will all look the same sometimes. So yeah, you're gonna start labeling stuff. Photos is really good as well. Before you start taking anything out. Don't forget that this guy's got to come off, mounted with 2 screws, because this is all going to come out together with the chassis here, and the chassis comes from the top. It comes up, so you don't have to remove any knobs. Now, it's a rail system. If you can see right there, 1 and 2, you're going to undo those, and this piece of metal bar will slide and drop down. Same on the other side, which is a lot tighter to get to, and you can see it up there. And then when you've disconnected all the wires, the thing will just lift straight up. But yeah, so it's pretty easy to get at, but once again, lots of labeling, because these speaker wires are the same colors as, you know, antenna wires, and then there's also these pink guys, which is the cabinet light on off telling you that it's running, and there's one up there, the interior light. So yeah, lots of labeling and photographs. Okay, so I've been doing some dewiring, marking this is the right channel speaker wires. As you can see, I marked that guy with black Sharpie to go over there. That's the common side. You can see the red dot. Plus side, and same over here. I disconnected the lights. I took photographs of this, but just remember this is DC voltage going in there. So cover these with black tape, because if you're on the bench testing and these guys decide to touch, it's going to be a bit of a mess. So yeah, jetpack, jackpack, whatever you want to call it. That's hanging for now. So yeah, record player there and there. To get that out, I've got to flip those over. We'll pull the power like that, and then same up here. It's kind of hard to see, but anyway, the RCA jack, boom. Mark those guys as well, because this is going to be the same going into this, which I'll pull out. Should be a 2-prong, but yeah, we'll pull that out as well. All right. Okay, with the turntable out, a bit more light on the subject. So yeah, the audio jacks, T for turntable, and this guy was the Porta-Fi, so put a P on that guy. You unplug here, that's the power for the Porta-Fi. I have to do that 2-handed. And then there's these wing nuts right here, and this guy will just lift straight out. Okay, so that's the rail that holds this guy in place up there. As you can see, there's 1, and then there's 2 bolt nut screws that hold it in place. The other one is tucked up there. You see by the piece of blue is just kissing it. So you got to get that up. With that, a longer extension. It's a little of a tight fit, but easily done once you get up in there. Okay, so with that rail off here and the 2/4 inch nut screws there, this guy should be all ready to pull out. It's a bit of a wiggle, as usual. But yeah, and you can see that's why we took the jetpack off, because it all comes out together. And then on the bench. Okay, with that all out, we got to concentrate on getting this off. If I remember, this wood panel is mounted to this cover right here. There are a couple of screws, one there and one there. And then if we come on the inside, there are some more screws, one up there, one down there. I think there's something behind here. I know there's a couple of tweeters behind there, but this has got to come off. That's probably a mount. Same on here. We've got one up there, one there, and I think there's a screw behind this guy as well, the AM antenna. But anyway, these speakers are got to come off, and we'll see what's what. Aha, so my memory did serve me well. We could see that one, but we couldn't see that one, which hold the cover in place. So this is why these speakers have to come out. And there's your tweeters. Good time to check them. Put a meter on them, make sure they're giving out the correct ohms. What does it say? It's upside down. So it's 16 4 watt. So yeah, check those babies out while you got it. We'll do the crossover caps as well. And obviously same for the other side. Okay, so remember I said there might be a screw behind here? It's not, it's this one right here. It holds on the power on light on the front there, the signal light that tells you the unit is on. It's doing double duty, so that's got to come off. And you should get somebody on the other side to hold this while you're doing it, because that wood panel is going to flop off. Okay, with those screws off, you can now see that this wood panel comes off, and then this cloth will come off. Now look at the difference. That was the original color right there. Compared it to the rest of it, look how much that's faded. So now that should fall off. And there we go, we're off. Okay, well with that off, I've ordered some new cloth from Newcastle Fabrics, a Keystone cloth. This will all get cleaned out now. I'll take it outside and use compressed air and blow it all out and give it a good clean. Same on the inside. But yeah, I covered this on restoring a graduate, so no need to. You can go to that video to figure that one out. This guy is exactly the same as a graduate, except it's square. The graduate was the long version, but as we talked about in the graduate, it's all component. This part comes off. I'll show you briefly how to get these off on this one. But as for recapping, you've seen me do that. But yeah, all these knobs have to come off, and then you got to support this with some wood, or I have these, where are they? I have these guys, which are old batteries. They're great because I have this side and this side. So they're like, I'll support that on there to protect these switches right here, because you don't want to put any weight on them. So yeah, I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so I got it on my little wedges here to protect those buttons. We already took all the knobs off. And now is probably a good idea to take the jack pack, harness off. This one, they're two different plugs, so you can't get them mixed up. They're a bit of a bugger sometimes because these clips, they're like automotive clips, Molexes. So you have to use a screwdriver to free those and get them off. And then you'll be left with these antenna wires here, and this one, antenna wire, does have to come off here. But I get these off first because there's some other stuff to release from the tuner section. Okay, with those plugs off, Molex connectors, we're going to disconnect the power section to the tuner, which goes to this power block right here. Make sure you mark these well, photograph them, because they got to go back in the same way, otherwise there'll be sparks. The black ones are for the DC lamps in there. They don't have to come off right now. Down in here, that's the audio out to the amp. That'll be easier to get off when you actually take this guy, the tuner section off, which is 1, 2, and that one over there. And then this guy should lift straight out. Okay, so with those screws off, this should come off. Now, from memory, this is stuck with some protective foam, and you try to pull it off and it won't come off, and you think you've left a bolt on there somewhat, but there's like a protective foam for the glass, and that foam is stuck to the chassis. So you're going to have to give it a little wiggle to break that, just like that. Like I said, you think you're going to break something and you're off. There's that foam, and it basically stuck there, as you can see. But normally you go, oh, it's not coming off, I left the bolt on. So there you go. These are the audio outs. You just got to get those out the way. That's the antenna wires. Undo those, and then the tuner section. Well, why don't we do it? We're here, and it's pretty hard not to get these right because it's labeled very nicely, right and left, and right is red. So there you go. Take that off, right there. Pull that cable again, and there's your tuner section away. All right. And now you can easily get to the solder on the other side to do the recapping. As you can see, all the caps are in there. But we're going to take that off anyway because we want to get behind that glass panel right there. Sorry, that Perspex Lexan, and give it a good clean because it's full of dust. And that is pretty much the same as what we did with the tuner. It's 1, 2, and then these lights here are held in by the same screws holding this chassis to the faceplate, so they're going to have to come off as well. And there you have it. She's off, and we can clean all that up now because that all looked dirty and dust, and get ready for some recapping. Same right here. This will get cleaned up. Oh, there's a little spacer, foam spacer there with the knobs. But yeah, this all get cleaned up as well. And there you go. All right, so just cleaned her all out with compressed air, got rid of 50 years of dust and what have you. Same on the inside there. Still a bit of dirt residue. So what I use this Method Daily Wood Cleaner because it's all natural and it's kind of got lemon oils and what have you. So it's a great cleaner. And when I've done that, I'm going to go over the whole thing with Danish oil over everything except that part right there. Just to get that oil into that wood, make it pop before I continue with the recloth. Okay, so all cleaned, some fresh Watco oil, let that soak in, get the topper going over again, and yeah, starting to come together. The grill cloth, I've looked everywhere for this kind of stuff with these lines. No can do. The closest I came was an Acoustone cloth in kind of this color, but I decided that I would go with this, and then of course we finish it with this. It's a nice piece of custom formed wood panel, which just makes it, just puts it all together, doesn't it? Very, very pleased the way this turned out. Now, this is this cloth is from World's Finest Grill Cloth, Acoustone by Newcastle Fabrics. It's the Linville series. I use this a lot. I've had many compliments, a lot of people asking where it's from. But yeah, this is professional standard cloth here. It's very durable, it's good thickness, but you know, it lets sound through. As you can see, it's completely designed to be just dense enough to be firm and what have you, but it lets audio through. That's why it's the best stuff. All right, crack on. Okay, remember we were gonna goof around with the Porta-Fi. I've really yet to dig into one of these, but took the cover off. Everything seems to be working correctly. Power's on. Let's turn this guy on. I'm pretty sure this has got a bad hum. Turn it up. We've got some talk radio on, I believe. And slowly warming up. There you go.
Approaches a Greek Coast Guard vessel.
We're getting audio, which is awesome.
And so the speedboat pulls up next to the Coast Guard vessel that's stopped.
That's mains caps. That's the level control there as well. But yeah, that's mains caps. So we will be replacing that big guy in there. But that's what that hum's all about. We'll check the tubes as well, but 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. So yeah, this will be a nice addition. I'll probably recover this. Even though this is nice, I might recover it in the Linville only because I'm going to pair it with this guy. Not that we'd be close together, but I don't know. Maybe I should or shouldn't. I'll think about it. Anyway, there's your Porta-Fi. We'll work on that. More to come. Okay, so we recapped it. This wasn't that bad actually, but there is some black stuff starting to ooze out there. I just fired it up and it's not good news. Turn it on, we've got talk radio. This is warming up. And we've still got some hum. It's not as bad.
To try the cases individually. That, he proclaimed, is not what's going to happen.
It goes away when I ground it.
Defense attorneys to tell
but
the Navy
what's more interesting is this volume control is really not working. So I think there's something going on with this. So I'm going to flip it over and turn the level off here. We turn it off and flip it over and check this out. But this is not operational, and that's maybe why the hum is probably a grounding issue. But anyway, more will be revealed. Okay, so we flipped it over. I don't know if you can see there, but each volume control connection has come away. And it's probably because it's not very mounted very well, so people have been wrenching on it. That's it right there. And all these solders have broken off. So I'm hoping that's going to be the fix. Wish me luck. Okay, so we fixed that solder issue. There's no hum with it being on. We've got talk radio on. Let's turn the volume up.
I want to ask you about the dynamics in your own caucus here. But
other than the fact that we made clear that
this is the level control.
In House Republic, at least 150 votes, that we would ensure that the country did not default.
That's pretty nice. Really pleased with that, how that turned out. Needed to be recapped anyway, because if it's going to somebody, it needs to be fully serviced. But yeah, very pleased with the results. My first foray into Porta-Fi.
Say to members of your party who feel like they just watch.
Okay, so you've all seen this before if you're regular viewers. We're going to recap this GE tuner amp, the tuners over there. But I've done this before on Restored Graduate, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Actually, I'm not going to go into it at all, except that we use a solder sucker to get this off, and then we're going to get all these electrolytics out. This was weak on the right channel, I believe, so 9 times out of 10, it's a cap. I said that before. So I'm going to get busy recapping this thing, and then I'll get it back in there. Same with the tuner section right here. I've shown you guys that before. Take this off, clean it, some caps in there, how to hinge it open. Also, with the jack pack off, now's a good time to clean that switch. It's the switch for the internal, external speakers. Nearly every time one of these comes in and somebody says, oh, the channel's not working or it's weak, it's this guy. It gets dirt in there really, really easy. So now's a good time to blast it with contact cleaner. I use this stuff. It's really good. And clean this switch out, and you know, it's just a general cleanup, but you can see there's just dirt all over here anyway. Once again, I said I've done that on the Graduate, so they won't be digging into that. So yeah, so I'm going to start recapping this, and then I'm going to get it back in. All right, so we finished the recap. All the caps are in there now, all nicely sold and what have you. And now is a really good time to clean all the switches and the pots. They're kind of hard to get to because the open side's closer to the board, but do the best you can with the nozzle. Make sure you give these a really good clean. These are the rockers, and these always have dirt in them and stop functions from functioning. So yeah, get it up in there. All right. Oh, I forgot to mention this big ass filter cap. That was mounted here and replaced with this guy, which is half the size. I had to drill a hole so this could be mounted because there's just no room down here. This is on its own bracket, which obviously that won't fit in. So anyway, so mounted, zip tie, job done. Okay, all put back together. Recapped, pots cleaned, new lamp bulbs. The tuner section got worked on as well. That's also covered in the Graduate video. But yeah, I did test her on the bench. She sounds great. I'm going to put her in and continue with the record player. All right, there she is. Let's turn it down. Turn the Porta-Fi down. Yeah, all done. Very happy with the way this one came out. I guess you should probably call her Mrs. Kubrick. She's a little less masculine than the original with all the new cloth. I did decide to recover this Porta-Fi unit, which sounds great because it matches the rest of it and they're going to go together, so why not? Turntable, redone, rebuilt, new idler, the usual stuff. You've seen that video. You saw this guy. You've seen it previously on videos as well. But yeah, there she is. Very happy with the way she turned out, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.